Segment 2, Golden Black Live, and it's not often that you get to have one of your heroes on your podcast. I hate to gush, but Walter Jordan needs no introduction to Purdue basketball fans because he was a all Big Ten level player, NBA guy, and about his nickname was cheerleader. So he did a lot of things on that light. But Walter, welcome to the show. We're just heard from Matt Painter, and there's a lot going on in Purdue men's basketball. You can relate to that in your playing days, 1975 to 78, or actually 74 when you came in. You started all 4 years. Had a lot of expectations, and that was part of it too. But you have to be excited if you're a Purdue basketball fan looking ahead to this season.
Well, absolutely. And what I'm really excited about, I think the character of the guys. I think character would take you places that talent won't allow you to go. Yeah. I'm really excited based on the conversation I had with Max, with Matt, and also Brandon about the character. They're excited about the character of this team. The talent is there. There's no question about that. But the character, I think, is what's going to give us a shot to get to New Orleans. I really believe that's possible.
In your experience as a player, you had it made it. The NCAA tournament was far different back then. You'd have probably been in the NCAA tournament 3 or 4 out of the 4 years had it been a 68 team tournament. But you dealt with expectations. You guys made it to the NCAA tournament, got kind of robbed in a game against North Carolina. The following year, a lot of expectations, and it didn't work out quite to the level that you wanted to. So what if you're talking to those guys, what do you tell them on that front in terms of what advice do you give them if you were talking to Travion Williams or Zach Edey or Jaden Ivey in terms of dealing with those expectations?
Yeah, I remember coming back to my junior year, which was our best year.
Yeah.
We were playing top-ranked teams. We were playing, of course, the Big Ten schedule is off the chart. It always is. And then you had Louisville, you had Alabama, you had Indiana State, you had all these ranked teams in the preseason. And so I remember beating Alabama, who was ranked top 10, beating Louisville, who was ranked in top 10, Daryl Griffin, then we got beat by Indiana State. I mean, so you have to just stay focused, and you have to just really buy into the team goal as one goal. Everybody's on the same page. The only thing that mattered was winning. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard. And I take that and remember how great of a season we had. And that's why I thought we had a chance. Once we got by North Carolina, I thought we had a chance literally to win it because we had that kind of talent. So coming back the next year, expectations are even higher because now we had 6 freshmen. And we didn't have the continuity we had with the senior leadership gone before the Gerald Thomases of the world, Bruce Parkinsons of the world, no longer there. And so the seniors have to take ownership, and the guard play is essential. The guard play on and off the floor, the leadership has to be there. So that's what I'm looking for early in the season, see how the Hunters of the world do, not so much as the skill players we know that's going to get 20 points, 10 rebounds a game, but the guard play has to be strong on and off the floor. That leadership has to be strong, and everybody's got to follow the game plan, Matt's game plan, and the team's game plan. I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, you have experience, and you know it when you see it. Having your long experience, you played in Indiana State championships, you played in the NCAA tournament, you played in the NBA, and I think one of your gifts you've given, and I look at it this way, is your new book, Gracefully Broken, Hall of Famer's True Story, and Walter Jordan tells it. Like it is. How'd you come up with that name? I like the name, and how does that play in? Because this is a story of faith, of challenges certainly, and growing up as a young man in Fort Wayne, Indiana, that wasn't always easy. But tell me about that and how that all came about.
Well, the whole thing. Someone told me this time a year and a half ago I written a book, and I would be blown away. I said, no way that's going to happen. But, God laughs at my plans. He laughs at all of our plans. Right? But during the pandemic, I was just sitting around thinking about everybody's lying on each other. Everybody's pointing fingers, and no one's accepting responsibility about doing anything. And so you hear these Walter Jordan stories, and everybody talk about how great Walter Jordan was. And people don't know that I fall down. I'm imperfect. I sin, just like everybody else. I'm a sinner. And I need to tell my story. I wanted my kids to know the truth. Kids don't care about, you average 17 points a game, you're all Big Ten. They don't want to know that. All they want to know, you care about them? Do you love them? Can you help them? and can you help them get where they want to go? So my whole thing was I wanted my kids to know their grandparents, their family. I wanted my friends to know the true story about me. So no one can lie on me anymore because it's in the book. So I just wanted to get that out there to let people know it's time for us to all be transparent and stop pointing fingers. And God, once God forgives you, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, more peace than I ever had in my life, I have it now. And the respect I've been able to gain because of the people see my faults has been unbelievable. I've been overwhelmed and blown away. The love I received has been unbelievable. I get emotional just thinking about it.
You know, you have that thing, and we all, like I said, we all make mistakes. We do things that maybe we wish we wouldn't have done, but you live and learn. Did the pandemic make that, you talked about having time to do, but also the reflection, everything else that's been going on in the world too, from social justice issues,
Absolutely, Alan.
It just all makes something worth reflecting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, absolutely. I think it's time for us to be bold and people who's not just trying to get people change their lives, but speak to our truth to people. And that's what time it was for me, because I'm sick and tired, like everybody else is sick and tired of the pandemic, and sick and tired of us not treating each other right, not loving each other. But we have to stop pointing fingers. Everybody got to take responsibility. Our kids are in trouble because of adults. They're not in trouble because of themselves. They're in trouble because of us grown folks, because we acting like 10-year-olds. So the best part of what I do is I get to be around those kids, 3 or 4 times a week, who I see. I say faces, not races. If you look at my program in my life, half of my friends don't look like me.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a blessing. My classmate, 80% of them don't look like me in high school. So that's the way I live my life. It's about being right and wrong. It's not about being a donkey or elephant. It's about being, doing the right thing. Most of the time, I'm trying to get there now. I'm 20 points behind in the fourth quarter, Alan, but I'm trying to get to the kingdom, and I'm fighting like hell to get it done.
Yeah. One of your city mates and dear friend, Eugene Parker, and passed and a few years ago, never to be forgotten, just in terms of his impact on people like yourself, but on a lot of people, really. If you talk about the Purdue basketball family, if you listen to and watch the life of Eugene, that was something that was important. And obviously you've got a chance to play with him, and it was a hard thing for you guys for anyone that knew him to go through. But what did that teach you? And and as you reflect on that and looking in your life through that lens, what has been that challenge? It's been a challenge certainly to deal with that passing, but also that lesson.
Well, absolutely. And the title, to piggyback on what you're talking about, the title of the book, Gracefully Broken. I don't know anybody in life that's past 20 years old hadn't been broken at some point in time. We've all been broken we all have a story. And most of our stories are untold, but need to be told.
Yeah.
And see, with Eugene Parker dying and a lot of my close friends passing away, family members, and my health issues, personal health issues, inspired me to tell the truth about my life, so people can know about my life and know about the fact that we need to take care of ourselves better. And that's one of the messages I want to get in the book, so we can start to grow as especially as men, especially as Black men. We don't go to the doctor. We don't do what we need to do. And Eugene and I shared that a couple of times. And I remember our last conversation like it was yesterday, because I had no idea. He called me, and I can remember that it seemed like he wanted to say something to me. He knew he was going through something, but he didn't tell me. Yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, he was gone.
Yeah.
And found out by a real good friend of mine, who's his cousin Raymond Odom, who also went to Purdue, what really happened in that 2-week period. Because I get a call and say, hey, Eugene's really sick. And I'm thinking, okay, he's sick, he's gonna be fine. Then I get a call 24 hours later, say he's passed.
Yeah. So
you talk about devastation.
Yeah.
He's a guy that worked out every day, took care of himself, looked good, had the world by his, right here. He's doing some amazing things, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Christian, God-fearing brother, just doing some amazing things in his life. One of your best friends and someone I respect more than anybody, and he's gone. So it affects you even till this day. It affects you, but at the same time, it inspires you to live a better life.
He could sing too.
Oh, yeah, he could sing.
Never forget the banquet. I think I went maybe your junior or senior year, and he he sang the Herb Alpert, "This Guy's in Love with You," and he just killed. I mean, he was fantastic on that.
Oh, absolutely. You try rooming with him for 2 years to see that.
You know, the part of the beauty of playing and having an experience like you did playing and at a high level is the friends you've made. I mean, I look at guys like Bruce Parkinson, Joe Barry Carroll, two unique, different guys, but great teammates. I'll first say, you know, Bruce Parkinson was a great teammate and a great player in his own right. Tell me a little bit about that, and then also Joe Barry, because they don't make them like Joe Barry's. Joe Barry's as intellectual as you can be, and obviously an NBA first pick type guy, but he's a lot more than a basketball player. Both those guys were.
Yeah, one unique thing about being a player at a high level, being able to play at a Power 5 conference or a school like Purdue, is most of the guys come in there, they're leaders and they're themselves. They're not trying to be anybody else, because who they are has been good enough to get there where they want to go. And so I look at the differences. You mentioned it so well. He's like Jerry Seaston, Kyle Mason, Nick Walls, and all of Michael White. I mean, Dick Sanders. All those guys are all so different. Yeah. But that's the beauty of being on a team sport. I would say teamwork always works. So that's the beauty of being on an athletic environment like that, where none of that matters. We love each other. We look past that. We never discuss politics or anything like that. Or if we did, it was not a disagreement. We respected the fact that you're who you are. And so Bruce was always a leader. He's always a silent type of leader, but tough as hell. I mean, tough as hell. He loved the big game. He would always show up in the big game. That's what I love about Bruce Parkinson. You can count on him. And he's the ultimate team player. He made sacrifices and he could flat out play. Then Joe Barry was just a unique talent. We couldn't wait to get the freshman in there from when he was a freshman. We couldn't wait because we had just lost Macy and we needed some good news because he had transferred to Kentucky. And we got the news that Joe Barry was coming. Now we were really excited. And Joe, as a freshman, he showed some skills, that soft touch. I mean, he could run the floor. He could do some things to pass the ball too. But when Lee Rose came in, he really got him motivated somehow, got him really focused and told him, you can make millions and millions of dollars if you do what we need you to do. And Joe Barry embraced that. And because I'm sure he probably calculated that in his mind.
Yeah, he probably did.
And it took, I'm so happy for him when he made the Final Four. I thought they was going to win it. But he, Joe Barry could have been as good as he wanted to be. And we all know that talent-wise. And he's a great guy, never looked down on anybody, but always had his focus on what he's doing now. And that has been very, very successful off the court. And I salute him. I look up to him because I respect the fact that he's always been Joe Barry Carroll, regardless of what anybody else says. Yeah. He was Joe Barry Carroll, and that's always been good enough. And people that know him and play with him love him for that.
You guys are both now, and you're still both in the Atlanta area, right? So you get a chance to see each other at all, or
yes?
Go ahead.
He had a book signing a couple of years, and he read some poems, and one of the poems was dedicated to Eugene. And he has a book. I purchased a couple of his books, and I went to the signing and just watched him in the crowd. He had the crowd mesmerized like he was on the court. He was reading from the books, and I was just blown away by his talent. In fact, I was just looking at the story he wrote about Eugene about 3 months ago. He's doing very, very well. So we send each other text messages every now and then. How you doing, man? You doing all right? Good job, that kind of thing. So
yeah, Joe's an artist as well and has a lot of talent. All right, now you look at Purdue basketball and you watch it closely. I think none of us were in Mackey Arena last year, but you've been at games probably just about every year. I think I get a chance to.
Yes.
If I don't see you, I see you from a distance. But this is a unique situation. You got Zach Edey, who's about 7'11", it seems, and Jaden Ivey's about as talented a guy as I've seen in West Lafayette. I mean, has that potential. What do you like most about this team? We talked about it a little on the front end, but his team has really got some unique talent.
I like a couple of things about this team. First of all, I mentioned earlier the character. I think they have character. Right. I think they have leadership. And I also think that all those guys individually has gotten better. I really think they put the work in over the summer. I think the key to having a great team is every individual getting better. Yeah. And I think that buying into the system. I like the fact that Matt understands, after having someone like a Carson Edwards come in there and do what he do, and you got to let him have some freedom. He's got that kind of talent. I see it in Jaden. I see, but I'm excited about Edie. I'm so excited about his upside.
Yeah.
This kid can be unstoppable. I mean, he does some things that you can't teach. He does it naturally, and he's quicker than people think.
Yeah.
And he's strong. I mean, this guy, he's a beast.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's 7 foot whatever. And then then you got Travian. And Travian, if he can learn to face up to the basket and play the 4 position with then the depth, you talk to the young guys can flat out play. Yeah. I haven't given up on Newman and some of these other guys. We forgot about Sasha. You can go on and on. And I even like Thompson. I mean, they've got talent. I mean, the talent is there, no question about it. I also think they're good kids.
Yeah.
Now, the key is going to be how close they are, how willing to fight for each other. Because it's going to be some battles in the Big Ten. We know that. In a tournament, you have to be rolling at the right time. If we can get that rolling at the right time, Big Ten tournament, and then from that point on, I think we win 4 or 5 games in a row. We're right there. We're right there.
It's going to be a fun thing to watch. All right. The book is Gracefully Broken. I highly recommend it. It's an inspiring read about an inspiring person. So you know how to promote that. That's good. I'm glad that you did. And out in paperback and sold on Amazon and any place that you want to get a book. It's Jerry O'Brien endorsed. I saw that picture on social media also, which that does it for me right there. If Jerry's going to do it, that's a topic for another thing we can talk about. The role Jerry O'Brien had made in Purdue basketball. But Walter, congratulations on that. I think there's nothing better. The opportunity to write a book for anybody that chooses to read it, but also for your family. That's the thing that over time will make the big difference for you, is the fact that it will forever be there and for your family. And that's hard to beat.
Well, thanks, Alan. I appreciate that. Let people know in West Lafayette, I'll be there on November 17th at 9 Irish Brothers at Jerry.
For signing.
Jerry O'Brien's spot. So the 17th, I'm looking forward to being in West Lafayette and maybe attending one of the Purdue Boilermaker practices as well, seeing Matt and the guys.
Yeah, I'll bet you they'll let you in.
Oh yeah. I've talked to Coach Elliott, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. No, I think they'll let you in. You'd be a good guy for them to listen to. Yeah, we'll make sure we promote that also on our site as we get closer, so people know, at least in our sphere, that November 17th event at 9 Irish. So, Walter, have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll all hope for a Purdue football victory on Saturday. And gosh, the first exhibition game for men's basketball is next Thursday, the 4th. It's rolling out, my friend, and that part's good.
I can't wait.
All right, we will stay tuned for. Yes, thanks, Walter, and we will stay tuned for segment 3. Tom Dienhart and Brian Newbert will join me, and we'll break down all things Purdue, Nebraska. Again, Walter, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll look forward to talking again soon.
Thanks, my friend. God bless.